The system is already breaking. There was a time when doctors had all the answers. You felt sick. You went to the doctor. You trusted what they said. No questions, no second opinion, no alternatives, just one expert, deciding your health. And for a long time, that worked. But something started to change. Slowly, at first. Almost invisible. Longer waiting times, shorter appointments, more patients, less time. Doctors didn't change. The system did. Think about the last time you visited a doctor. You called. You waited. Maybe days, maybe weeks. When you finally got there, you sat in a waiting room. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Your name gets called. You walk in. The doctor looks at a screen, not at you. They ask a few questions. Type something, click something. Then, you're probably fine. Or, let's wait and see. The whole visit lasted 7 minutes, and somehow, you're expected to trust it. This isn't because doctors don't care, they do, but they're overwhelmed. More patients, more paperwork, more pressure, less time. Healthcare became speed, not depth, and patients noticed. They started leaving with more questions than answers. Is this serious? Should I worry? What if it's something else? But the appointment is over. So what do people do? They go home, and they start searching. At first, it was Google. Type symptoms, scroll results, read forums, confusion everywhere. One website says it's harmless, another says it's dangerous. You read more, you panic more. Google didn't solve the problem. It made it worse. But still, people kept searching. Because something changed. The doctor was no longer the only source. Then something new appeared. Not another website, not another forum. Something different. You could ask it a question, and it answered directly. No scrolling, no ads, no confusion, just one clear response. And people noticed immediately, because for the first time, they could ask follow-up questions. What does that mean? Is that dangerous? Should I see a doctor? And it answered, again, and again, and again, without rushing, without ending the conversation, without telling you your time was up. This felt different. At first, people didn't fully trust it. It felt strange. Asking a machine about your health? That sounded risky. So they used it carefully. Just to understand things, just for explanations, just for curiosity. But slowly, that changed. Because the answers were actually helpful. It explained things simply. It broke down symptoms. It suggested possibilities. Not one answer, multiple. And suddenly, people walked into doctor appointments already informed, already aware, already questioning, and that changed something important. For the first time, the doctor wasn't the only authority in the room. Doctors started noticing it too. Patients asking different questions, more specific questions, more detailed questions. What about this condition? I read this could be related. Could it be something else? This didn't happen before. Patients used to listen. Now they challenged. Not aggressively, but differently. They weren't just receiving information. They were comparing it, checking it, thinking about it. And that changes the dynamic. Because authority depends on exclusivity. And doctors were slowly losing that. But here's the interesting part. AI didn't replace doctors. Not yet. It just did something else. It filled the gap. The gap between symptoms and appointments. The gap between questions and answers. The gap between worry and reassurance. And that gap is huge. Because most health decisions don't happen in hospitals. They happen at home. When you notice something strange. When you feel something new. When something doesn't seem right. That's when uncertainty starts. And that's when people now open AI first, not the doctor. This doesn't mean people stopped seeing doctors. But something subtle changed. The order. Before, doctor first, search later. Now, search first, doctor later. That shift is small, but powerful, because whoever comes first shapes the conversation, shapes the expectations, shapes the decisions. And AI is quietly moving into that position. Not loudly, Not dramatically, just gradually. And once behavior changes, systems follow. Patients become more informed. Doctors become more cautious. Appointments become different. Instead of explaining basics, doctors now confirm. Instead of teaching, they evaluate. Instead of guiding, they validate. That may sound small, but it's a fundamental shift because the doctor's role is starting to change. From source to verifier. From expert to confirmer. And that is where things start to get interesting. Because once a system changes roles, it rarely goes back. And this is only the beginning. At first, AI was just a helper. It explained symptoms, it translated medical terms, it simplified complex ideas. Nothing more. Doctors were still in control, still the final decision, still the experts. But then something started happening. People began testing it, not intentionally, just naturally. They asked AI about symptoms before seeing a doctor. Then later, they compared answers, and sometimes they were similar. Very similar. That's when things became interesting. Imagine this. You feel a sharp pain in your side. You ask AI. It gives 3 possibilities. One harmless, one moderate, one serious. It tells you what to watch for, when to worry, when to see a doctor. Later, you visit the doctor. They examine you and say, it's probably this. And it's one of the options AI already listed. That moment matters, because trust builds through consistency. And the more often AI and doctors agreed, the more comfortable people became. Not replacing, just trusting. A little more each time. Then something else happened. People started asking AI after doctor visits. Not before, after. The doctor explains something. You go home. You ask AI to clarify. Is this serious? What are the risks? Are there alternatives? And AI expands the explanation. Slower, clearer, more detailed. It doesn't contradict the doctor, it supports. And this is where AI became powerful, because understanding creates confidence. And AI became the explanation layer. Doctors diagnose. AI explains. At least, at first. But AI didn't stop there, because AI learns differently. Doctors learn from experience, years of training, thousands of patients. AI learns from data, millions of cases, research papers, medical journals, clinical studies, all combined, instantly. And that creates something new. Pattern recognition at scale. AI doesn't just remember what it saw, it compares everything. Let's say a symptom is rare. A doctor might see it once every few years. AI sees it across millions of examples. Doctors rely on memory. AI relies on probability, and probability can be very powerful. Not perfect, but powerful. And slowly. This started to show. Researchers began testing AI systems. They gave them medical cases, symptoms, history, lab results, the same cases given to doctors. Then they compared outcomes. At first, AI performed decently. Not better, just decent. But every new version improved. Better reasoning, better connections, better suggestions. Soon, AI wasn't just explaining. It was recommending possibilities. Still cautious, still careful, but getting closer to diagnosis. Doctors noticed this too, not as a threat, as a tool. Some started using AI themselves, to double-check ideas, to explore rare conditions, to review symptoms. Just like calculators didn't replace mathematicians. AI became assistants. At least, that's what it looked like. Because something subtle changed again. Doctors weren't just using AI. They were starting to rely on it. Not always, but sometimes, especially in complex cases. And that's where the shift accelerates. Because when experts start trusting a tool, the tool becomes powerful. Now imagine this scenario. A doctor sees unusual symptoms. They're unsure. They consult AI. AI suggests a rare condition. The doctor investigates, and it's correct. That reinforces trust. Next time, they check AI sooner, then sooner again. Until eventually, AI becomes part of the process. Not replacing, but influencing. And influence matters, because whoever influences decisions shapes outcomes. At this stage, AI still isn't replacing doctors, but it's no longer just explaining. It's participating, quietly, behind the scenes. And most patients don't even notice. They still see a doctor, still get human reassurance, still follow advice. But now, another intelligence is part of the equation. One that never sleeps, never forgets, never gets overwhelmed. And that changes things, gradually, but significantly. Now add something else: speed. Doctors think carefully, they take time, they review. AI responds instantly, not recklessly, just fast. You upload symptoms, it analyzes, you describe patterns, it compares, you ask follow-ups, it continues. This creates something new: continuous reasoning, not one appointment, an ongoing conversation. And that's fundamentally different from traditional healthcare, because healthcare has always been episodic. You feel sick, you visit, you leave. AI changes that. You feel something, you ask, you update, you monitor, you ask again. It becomes continuous care, without a clinic, without a waiting room, without scheduling. And once people experience that, it's hard to go back. But there's still one thing holding everything together: trust. People still trust doctors more, because doctors are human, because doctors are accountable, because doctors carry responsibility. AI doesn't. Not officially. Not yet. And that's important, because replacing doctors isn't just about intelligence, it's about responsibility. Who decides? Who signs off? Who takes the risk? Right now, that's still the doctor. But the foundation is shifting, because once intelligence shifts, responsibility often follows. Slowly, then suddenly, and we're moving toward that moment. Right now, doctors are still in control. They make the final call. They write prescriptions. They decide treatment. AI just assists. But look closer, because something subtle is starting to reverse. Not everywhere, not officially, but behavior is changing, and behavior always comes first. Imagine this. You wake up feeling strange. Your heart feels different. You're dizzy. Something isn't right. What do you do first? You don't call the doctor. You check. You open AI. You describe symptoms. It gives possibilities. It asks follow-ups. How long? Any chest pain? Shortness of breath? It narrows things down. Then it says, you should see a doctor. But notice something. The first assessment already happened, before the doctor. And that's the shift. Doctors used to be the first layer. Now, they're becoming the second. AI filters. AI evaluates. AI triages. Then, doctors confirm. This model already exists in other industries. Customer support, banking, travel. AI handles level 1. Humans handle escalation. Healthcare is slowly moving the same way. And once that structure forms, roles change permanently. Think about emergency rooms. They already triage patients. Not everyone sees a doctor first. Nurses evaluate, systems prioritize, severity determines order. AI can do the same, but continuously. For millions, at once, not just in hospitals, everywhere, at home, on your phone, on your watch. And that's powerful, because AI doesn't wait for symptoms to become serious. It monitors patterns. Your sleep changes, heart rate shifts, activity drops, AI notices. Before you do, before a doctor could. This isn't science fiction. It's already starting. And once monitoring becomes constant, diagnosis changes. Doctors diagnose snapshots. You visit, they observe, they decide. AI diagnoses trends, weeks of data, months of patterns, continuous signals. That's different. Because health isn't static, it's dynamic. And AI understands dynamics better than episodic visits. This gives AI a quiet advantage. Not smarter, just more informed. And more information often wins. Now imagine this evolves. Your smartwatch detects irregular rhythm. AI analyzes history. It flags a pattern. It recommends testing. You visit the doctor. They confirm. Who caught it first? AI. This scenario is already happening, and each time it does, trust shifts. Not away from doctors, but toward AI. As the first detector, the first warning, the first observer, and whoever sees first influences everything. But here's where it gets bigger. AI doesn't just analyze individuals, it analyzes populations, millions of people, millions of symptoms, millions of outcomes. It sees trends before humans notice. New diseases, side effects, risk patterns. Doctors see patients. AI sees humanity. And that scale is impossible to compete with. Not because doctors lack intelligence, because humans have limits. AI doesn't. This changes another thing. Consistency. Doctors differ. Different opinions, different experiences, different judgments. AI doesn't vary. Same input, same reasoning, same structure. That reduces randomness. And in healthcare, consistency matters. Because uncertainty creates fear, AI reduces that fear by structuring possibilities, explaining risks, outlining next steps, not emotionally, logically. And many people find that reassuring, but doctors still have something AI doesn't: human judgment, context, emotion, experience beyond data. And this is important because healthcare isn't just diagnosis, it's reassurance, it's empathy, it's trust. AI can't hold your hand. AI can't read fear in your eyes. AI can't comfort families. At least, not like a human. And that's why doctors aren't disappearing. They're evolving. The role is shifting. From primary analyzer to human decision maker. AI gathers information. AI suggests directions. AI monitors continuously. Doctors interpret. Doctors decide. Doctors communicate. This partnership sounds balanced, but history shows something. When AI handles more of the process, humans step back. Gradually, until they're supervising. Just in case. Just to confirm. And healthcare is approaching that structure. The doctor won't disappear, but the position will change. Less diagnosing, more confirming, less detecting, more explaining, less analyzing, more deciding. And over time, patients may not even notice. Because from their perspective, they still see a doctor. But behind the scenes, AI is doing more. Quietly, efficiently, constantly. And that leads to one final question. If AI becomes the first layer, and doctors the second, then who is really in control?